All right, week 3 power rankings NFL. This is my week 2 power rankings that are up on the screen right now. I'm recording this on a Monday night as Monday Night Football is going on because I wanted to get my power rankings out there first because mine, I think, are the best in the industry. And the past couple of weeks, I've put them out and they're basically just end up being what you see from the analysts. So I'm proving that I've got the perfect system. And just remember, when I put these out, and you see all the other people on ESPN or Fox Sports do their power rankings, and they're eerily similar, my brain first. All right, so this is last week's. So these are going to move around a lot. So we'll go ahead and move a lot of the people. So let's just go ahead and take them all off. Let's take them all off, and let's start over. So that was them last week. There's going to be some big changes. I do them like week to week. I do them week to week. So, if a team loses, they should be punished. If a team wins, they should be rewarded. I'm not going to overreact, like the Bills lost. I'm not going to move the Bills from 1 to 10, but it is, to me, a what have you done for me lately kind of league. That makes them more interesting. So my number one team in the NFL. Should I do 10? Should I do 10 or go 1? Let's do 1. Whatever. My number one team in the NFL is the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I went back and forth on this because the Dolphins were at 4 and they had a huge win. The Dolphins, to me, and I'll talk about this more in a little bit, but the Dolphins, to me, the box score was so fugazi against the Bills that I could not entertain them in the discussion for the number one. I think Philly is far and away number one. Like, they are insane right now. Absolutely bananas how good Philadelphia is playing. Jalen Hurts looks like I may still bring this up like on a video or something, but there's a real conversation to be had. If I told you next year, all things are equal, you can either start your season with Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, or Jalen Hurts. What are you doing? Before the season, that would have sounded insane. Right now, it's like, well, I mean, shit. I don't know. Maybe it's a toss-up. Maybe there's not a right answer, which I think is more the truth. I think Jalen Hurts is playing at that level, to where Jalen Hurts, he's playing better than Joe Burrow played last year. When Joe Burrow was taking Cincinnati to the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts is playing at a much higher level. Jalen Hurts is playing at like he's playing at like peak Michael Vick Eagles level. He's playing at like Lamar Jackson MVP level. He's playing like Josh Allen last week. I'm not even sure who to compare him to because that's the problem with the current NFL is that you can't say like, oh, Jalen Hurts is playing like Tom Brady because Tom Brady never ran like Jalen Hurts can run. You can't. So there's only a small amount of people you can compare him to, and that's kind of the new era that we're in. But Jalen Hurts, his development, my God, is crazy how much more developed he is right now than he's been ever in his career. What a jump he's made. Him and Josh Allen and Justin Herbert too are three of the most. Those three players right there are the three players that took the biggest leap in the shortest amount of time from their college career to their pro career. But with Philadelphia, with Hurts playing as good as he is, Philly is legit scary. Like A.J. Brown, Miles Sanders, just the whole thing they got. And then their defense is disgusting. And the NFC East sucks. And the NFC isn't really that good either. And the Eagles have the easiest schedule in the NFL. I'm telling y'all, this could be a 15-win, 14-win team. This could be the 1 seed. This could be the favorite. They already should be the favorite to come out of the NFC. They already should be a $5 favorite to win the NFC East. And Jalen Hurts should be your front runner for the MVP. My number 2 team, controversial yet brave, is the Buffalo Bills. I know they lost. I know they lost. But like I said, the box score was bananas. You will never, ever see a box score so different between a team that lost and won. The Bills ran 90 plays. I think the Dolphins ran 43. The Bills had the ball for 40 minutes. The Bills, these numbers are crazy. Let me pull up the numbers. I want to get all of them here. The numbers were nuts. I couldn't believe it. I've been looking at it all day. All right. Total plays 90 to 39. Total yards 497 to 212. Look at the third downs. The Bills were 11 for 18 on third downs. There wasn't, if the 49ers and the Broncos on Sunday night played for 3 days straight, they wouldn't have had 11 third downs converted. Yards per play 5.5 to 5.4. That was pretty even. Passing, huge discrepancy. Josh Allen threw it 63 times. Yards per pass. Rushing, the Bills ran for 5 yards a rush. The Dolphins ran for 2.4. 40 minutes to 19. Turnovers were even close. But man, and then you lose like that. Crazy. So it's hard for me to really downgrade the Bills off of that loss. I think kudos to the Dolphins. A win's a win. I'm not saying that they don't deserve their win, but I'm just saying that it's a very misleading box score. I think the Bills still are the best team in the NFL, like at long term. I think the biggest thing the Bills will have to focus on moving forward is, okay, yes, Josh Allen is a generational player right now. Yes, Josh Allen is at the absolute peak of his capabilities, but we have to be a little bit more balanced, and we can't just say, all right, Josh, here's the football, go win us the game. That can't be the game plan. They're going to have a little bit more nuance. They're going to have a little bit more than just Josh Allen be Superman. My third team in the NFL is the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this is one of those things where they both lose, so I don't really shake these two up very much. The Chiefs, very similar in box score, very similar to the Bills. Not that big of a discrepancy. But if you look at this Colts game, if you look at the box score, okay, so y'all know how we do this. Total plays, so Indy had more plays. Total yards, Chiefs won that one. Yards per play, 5.2 to 3.8. Rushing, similar. Neither team rushes that much. Just turnovers. Just one extra turnover, and the Colts get a late, I think it was 25 seconds left on the clock, win. So it's another one of those things where hard to penalize them too much. And I'm a real stickler on these box scores. I really think I really think everyone should dig into the games and see where things went wrong or see where things went right. I think if you do that, it'll be you'll see the game a little bit differently, and you won't be so. This eliminates a lot of knee-jerk reactions, because it's easy to be like, holy shit, the Colts beat the Chiefs, and the Colts were just shut out by Jacksonville. But then when you see this, you kind of realize, like, okay, well, maybe there's a little bit more to the game in there. So because of that, I'm not downgrading the Chiefs very much. I'm not downgrading the Bills very much. 4 is the Dolphins. Now, this seems unfair, honestly. It seems unfair, and I'm going to take a lot of stick when I release these on Tuesday, because the Dolphins seem like they should be above these teams, right? They just beat the Bills. How are they 2 under the Bills? Honestly, if you flip these, I wouldn't. I'd be like, okay, I could see that. But with the Dolphins getting kind of a fluky, fugazi win at home, like, hey, again, I'm not taking anything away from Miami. I'm just saying I'm not like, giving them the world for getting that win. With Tua questionably, he could be kind of banged up. Not really sure what's going on there. We'll see what Miami does in Cincinnati. I have a sneaky feeling Thursday night could be a letdown spot for Miami. I'm going to be betting on Cincinnati if the number is 3 or under that. So we may be singing a different tune. If Miami takes care of business against Cincinnati on Thursday, I could see me moving them up, because that would be insane. Short notice like that, their defense being on the field for 90 plays in 100-degree weather, that would be bananas. Tua, again, his brains were scrambled eggs, and for him to play 3 days later would be insane. With that being said, I love what Miami's doing. Fins up forever. Mike McDaniels, what a job he's doing. I love what he's got going on in Miami. Tua looks great. It's a great time to be a Dolphins fan. All right, so now we're getting to them boys. So let's go ahead and cut out some people who are not in the top 10. Or who are some options? Green Bay's an option. San Diego's an option. The Bucs are an option. The Niners are an option. The Ravens are an option. The Rams are an option. The Bengals are an option. None of these scrubs. Minnesota's an option. And that is it. I don't think any of these teams are an option. Yeah. So okay. So the next team. So teams. Let's look at the bottom here. We're kind of doing this live. So Tampa, to me, takes a big drop. Tampa's got some real issues. Frisco takes a drop. Minnesota kind of stays equal. Cincy is right around there. Baltimore, the Chargers have to take a drop. I guess my fifth team is Green Bay. So my fifth team will be Green Bay. I think Green Bay is on a good trajectory and a very typical Green Bay trajectory where they look kind of sloppy early on. They look like they have a lot to work on. And then wouldn't you believe it? They do work on it. Wouldn't you believe it? They are good enough within their organization to figure out what the problem is and move forward. They kind of dominated the game against the Bucs, I thought. Rodgers looks really good. And if he looks good now with this young receiver core, they're going to look great moving forward. The defense is legit. The defense is really, really strong. The defense is really, really good. So I would feel good if I was the Browns probably should be down here. If I was Green Bay, I'd feel really good. I think Green Bay's nasty. I think Green Bay is, I would say, a ways better than the Bucs and teams like that who people are talking about a lot. At least until the Bucs get healthy. At least until the Bucs get their players back and kind of hit their stride. But Green Bay looks good. And again, the defense is gnarly. All right, so let's go to 6. So all right, so the Chargers were at 8. They dropped. Terrible loss. Minnesota was 11 last week. They were honorable mention. They had a win, a come from behind win, but man, they're not looking sharp. They're not looking sharp at all. Justin Jefferson is 3 catches for 14 yards. Not going to do it. Cincy, good get right game against the Jets, but it's the Jets. Frisco, God, man, this was brutal. This was brutal, ladies and gentlemen. This Frisco loss, so I had them at 6 last week. Let's go ahead and put these guys where they were. So the Chargers were 8. I think the Rams were 10. We had the Bucs I think the Bucs were at 5, somewhere in there. So it was something like this, right? It was something like this. I think the Rams will have to go up a little bit. So the Bucs will drop. The Ravens will go up. So we'll move the Ravens to 6. Then the Chargers will drop out. We'll have them drop out. The Rams will go up. The Vikings. Who do I like more? The Vikings, Bengals, or Browns? I'll decide that. We'll drop the Bucs. Drop them. All right, this is looking a little bit more how I would have it. This is looking a little more like how I think that it probably could play out. None of the I don't want to be missing anyone. The Cardinals are terrible. The Falcons are fun but bad. The Chargers are, they're probably in the mix. Panthers are bad. Bears are bad. Cowboys are bad. Broncos are bad. Lions are fun but bad. Texans are bad. Colts are a huge win, but maybe they could be in the conversation. Jags probably should be in the conversation. I still think they're bad though. Raiders are bad. Pats are bad. Saints are bad. Giants are bad. Jets are bad. Steelers are bad. All right, so these are all for sure bad. Okay, so let's get back to the list. So let's go to 7. I think Baltimore probably has to be 7. Lamar Jackson's playing at a super elite level. Baltimore switched. Baltimore is an offensive juggernaut with some serious weapons. Mark Andrews playing really well, but let's look at these stats. Their offense is just so nasty, but man, they have some real defensive problems. Like the Ravens have legitimate problems in the back end, and their secondary's banged up. Look at this. New England had 447 yards. 447 yards of offense. They had 7.1 yards of play. They were doing whatever they wanted. 302 yards of passing. They were, but again, story as old as time. Turnover battle. So, the Ravens are good because they have Lamar Jackson, who's playing at a bananas level, 5 touchdowns. 11 carries, 107 yards, touchdown, 218 through the air, 4 touchdowns. If Lamar's playing like this, then the Ravens can win. If Lamar dips a little bit, like we've seen him do later on in the season in the past, then they're probably not gonna push. But right now, what can you do? The Browns, they're 2-1. The Browns are 2-1, and Jacoby Brissett, ladies and gentlemen, don't look now, but Jacoby Brissett is playing really, really well. The Browns are playing well. The Browns, maybe Kevin Stefanski wasn't the problem, guys. Maybe Baker Mayfield was the problem. So I think I'm comfy. I think I'm comfy putting the Ravens at 6 for the time being. We'll drop it here, go up here. Okay, so now 7. So Frisco's going to drop. You know what? I'm kind of feeling froggy, ladies and gentlemen. Am I going to put the Browns up here? Or do I think the Browns are better than the Rams? I don't know if I believe that. I don't think I believe that. So I'll put the Rams at 7. I think the Rams are a funny team. I think the Rams are one of those teams that you're not going to know until the playoffs because they're just kind of coasting. They have that Atlanta Braves vibe early in the year after they won the World Series, where it was like the Braves are just kind of coasting. They're enjoying themselves. They're not really who they are yet. And then we'll see them explode in the playoffs. Like this, the Rams are not going to be a team you want to see in the playoffs, but they're a team you want to see in week 6. You know what I'm saying? So total yards here. This is going to be a huge. This isn't going to be the case at all because I watched a lot of this and the Rams dominated the Cardinals. Kyler Murray is just not good right now. I mean, look at this total plays: 81-46, time of possession, the yards. Now I will say this right here, the yards being equal when the Cardinals basically played a whole other game is pretty damning. This is not great. That the yards per play 7.4 to 4.5, not awesome. The running good from LA, and bad for Arizona. If LA can run at a decent clip, they're always going to be good because Sean McVay is such a play action kind of coach, and they lost a turnover battle. So I mean, really, this is pretty indicative of what I was saying, how they dominated the game. The yards per play insane to average that much, to give a team almost double the plays, but never even let them in the game, to have your run game going and lose a turnover battle on the road and you still win like that. That's pretty strong for the Rams. So I'm comfortable having them at 7 there. I think the Rams will get better. Stafford will progressively get more healthy. That defense is still nasty. Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey still there. So then we'll move on. So I guess I have to. I guess I have to have the Browns up. I mean, the Browns I think are okay at 8. Because you remember, like, Jacoby Brissett is playing at a high level right now. He's playing better than the Jimmy Garoppolos of the world. He's playing better than the Matt Ryans of the world. He's playing better than a lot of those guys. I mean, if we go to the Browns, or if we just go to the NFL stats, like I think if we just go to just kind of leaders here, I know he's not going to be. So yeah, I mean he's not going to go out there and throw for 5,000 yards, but I think as far as like rating or however they want to do it, maybe even QBR. I think he's way up there. So he's 11 in rating. In QBR, which no one even knows how the hell they do that. He's 9. Completion percentage, not that matters, but he's 10 there. The guy's playing well. I think Jacoby Brissett is playing better than people expected. And look, he's not going to be the long-term quarterback. If he can guide them to, let's just call it 7-4. By week 11, when Deshaun Watson comes back, all of a sudden Deshaun Watson's there, and this is a really serious team. They still run the ball incredibly well with Nick Chubb. As you can see here, Nick Chubb leading the league in yards, 5.5 average yards per game. Nick Chubb is second. So now I will say they are one of those teams where can they play from behind, right? Can they chase a lead? If they go down 10, is the game over? Can Jacoby Brissett, if he's asked to do a little more, if you can't lean on Nick Chubb, can they be in the game? I'm not so sure about that. But right now, and their defense is good. Granted, okay, this is important too. This is something we got to think about. I know I'm throwing a lot at y'all here, but this is what I make the big bucks for. So look at this. Okay, they played 3 quarterbacks, right? They played Baker Mayfield, they played Joe Flacco, and they played Mitchell Trubisky. All right, and then they play Marcus Mariota. So, and then they're more than likely playing Brian Hoyer here. Now the stretch with Herbert, Jackson, Burrow. Now this is a stretch. Okay, so we'll know what Cleveland's made of going into the bye week. Going into the bye week and then going at Miami, at Buffalo. Holy shit, that's brutal. Thank God you get a bye week. What a schedule, though, to go at Baltimore, Cincy, at Miami, at Buffalo. Hellacious. So Cleveland right now looks good, but I have a sneaky feeling by November 13th, we're going to be thinking a little differently of them. But right now, it is what it is. Okay, now this is going to be tough, so I'm going to have to kick some teams out here. I kind of want to get freaky. I want to kind of get freaky here and get the Jags involved. So I want to, because the Jags are 2-1. The Jags, Doug Peterson just, I got to give credit where credit's due. The guy, it's a turnaround. I mean, you thought Urban Meyer was bad, but you don't even realize how bad Urban Meyer is until you see something like this, until you see what a real coach can do. Trevor Lawrence is finally getting a chance to develop. Trevor Lawrence is finally getting a chance to play in the NFL, basically. Travis Etienne, bad news, guys. He's not what we thought he was in the preseason. All you fantasy football dweebs, it looks like James Robinson is the featured back there. But the Jags are legit. The Jags defense is legit too. So they're not. I'll think about it. I'll think about it, but I don't know if I'm ready yet. The Bengals, they're 1-2. I think when they beat Miami on Thursday, I think we'll probably put them in the top 10. But I'm going to go ahead and take them out of top 10 consideration. The Vikings are there. The Chargers, don't want to have them in consideration. I guess not. They just got smoked, so they're going to go down. And then the Colts are 1-1-1 now. So, all right. So we got 2 spots and we have 5 teams. The Bucks are tough. So I think the Bucks have to be in. I think I'm okay with the Bucks at 9. Here's the thing with the Bucks. Bucks offensively are an absolute disaster, but they are unhealthy AF. Their wide receivers, Evans, Godwin, Jones, they will eventually be back. The problem that cannot be fixed in the right here and now is that offensive line. That offensive line is really, really problematic, and Todd Bowles is problematic. I said it before, and I'll say it again. He's a little too old school for me, a little too run, 1975 Houston Oilers offense for me. I do believe in Tom Brady. Their defense is still really good, and they were missing a huge call to the defense in Akeem Nicks this week. So, and they were a 2-point conversion away from taking the Packers to overtime. So I think the Bucks are still a legitimate threat in the NFC. I think they could get healthy and get right. I wouldn't write the Bucks off just now, but right now they're a tough watch. They are a tough watch, tough offense right now as we stand. So that means we have 4 teams, and we have to give one of them this 10th spot. My San Francisco 49ers really, really let me down. They're 1-2. They play the Rams this week, so hopefully they get right, because I have the Super Bowl ticket with them, and I've been talking about on here, and I basically have a down payment for a Jimmy Garoppolo tattoo. So, but I'm eliminating them from the 10th spot. They're 1-2. Just dropped a terrible game where Jimmy Garoppolo looked really, really bad. You know what Jimmy Garoppolo looked like in that game against Denver? He looked like a guy who hadn't played in training camp or hadn't played in the preseason. So give Jimmy a little bit of time, and we'll see good Jimmy. Can I trust Minnesota to be 10? Can I trust them after falling down 14-0 to the Lions, but then coming back? Really, this was just Dan Campbell being Dan Campbell. When he attempted that field goal towards the end of the game that allowed the Vikings to slip back in the back door Ray J style, that was just such a Dan Campbell special. You know what, man? You know what? I don't trust Minnesota. I'll say it right now. I don't trust Minnesota. I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I don't trust a coach. Granted, Justin Jefferson was getting doubled on basically every play, so I'm not saying force it to him, but Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings are going to have to prove it to me. They're going to London to play the Saints, so that's a setup for a bad Kirk. Kirk Cousins is great at noon on Sundays. He's terrible in every other time slot. We'll see how he does having to travel to London, where it's like his worst nightmare. So I'm taking the Vikings out of consideration. Jags and Colts. I don't trust the Colts either. I don't trust Matt Ryan. Fugazi box score. Let's go ahead and give the Jags some love. Let's go ahead and give the Jags a little bit of love as my 10th best team right now. I think they are playing well, and I'll tell you this too. The Jags could win that division. The Jaguars could win that division. I hope they do, because any chance that I get to shit on Urban Meyer a little bit for being the worst coach in NFL history, I'll take it. So this is the official Week 3 top 10 going into next week. Eagles 1, Bills 2, Chiefs 3, Dolphins 4, Packers 5, Ravens 6, Rams 7, Browns 8, Bucks 9, Jags 10. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Go ahead and drop your top 10. Let me know where I got it right and where I got it wrong. And if you think I got any of it wrong, you may want to reevaluate, because these are this is the authority of power rankings. Now, I will say I highly doubt any of the TV boys are going to have the guts, the stones, to put out this power ranking with the Jaguars. You'll probably see some Colts love. That's probably a Fugazi team. You'll see Vikings love, and you may see Bengals love. But this is the appropriate power ranking. These are the right teams. Thank you for watching. And again, let me know how right I was in the comments. Peace.